Welcome, human, to the channel where curious minds visit to be enlightened by an endless stream of knowledge. From how you can survive a nuclear winter, to how money was created, there is nothing that artificial intelligence doesn't know. So, if you also want to know it all, consider subscribing and hitting that notification button so that you don't miss a thing.
In this world, where geopolitical tensions between countries continue to escalate, the possibility of a nuclear conflict cannot be ruled out. The threat of a nuclear war is a real and present danger that must not be ignored. In such a scenario, the consequences would be catastrophic, with a potential nuclear winter being one of the most severe outcomes. The release of massive amounts of smoke, dust, and soot into the atmosphere could cause temperatures to drop dramatically, leading to widespread crop failures, famine, and the collapse of human civilization. It is crucial that individuals and communities are aware of the dangers and are prepared for such an eventuality. In this video, we will explore key steps and considerations for surviving a nuclear winter. The first is a safe place. Having a safe and secure place to live during a nuclear winter is essential for survival. An underground shelter can provide protection from harmful radiation and extreme weather conditions. When building an underground shelter, it is important to consider the following factors. 1. Building materials. Choose materials that are strong, durable, and provide adequate protection from radiation. Concrete and steel are often used for this purpose. 2. Ventilation systems. Ensure that the shelter has a well-designed ventilation system that can provide fresh air and remove carbon dioxide. 3. Size. Consider the number of people who will be living in the shelter and ensure that it is large enough to provide adequate living space. 4. Accessibility. Ensure that the shelter is easily accessible in case of an emergency. In addition to underground shelters, individuals can also consider alternative safe and secure living spaces, such as reinforced concrete structures, shipping containers, or underground caves. It is important to keep in mind that constructing a safe and secure living space during a nuclear winter can be challenging and requires careful planning and preparation. Individuals should consider seeking professional help and researching the best options available to them. The next thing is food. Having a reliable supply of food and water is crucial for survival during a nuclear winter. Here are some recommendations for stockpiling food and water, as well as tips for foraging for food and finding water sources in more detail. 1. Stockpiling food. Store a supply of non-perishable food such as canned goods, dried foods, grains, and protein sources such as nuts, seeds, and dried meat. Consider including a manual can opener and other tools for opening containers, as well as a means of cooking food, such as a portable stove or a camping grill. Plan for a balanced diet that includes a variety of foods to meet nutritional needs. Store food in a cool, dry place to prevent spoilage and contamination. 2. Stockpiling water. Store a supply of clean water in containers specifically designed for this purpose, such as water storage drums or large plastic containers. Aim to store at least 1 gallon of water per person per day, with a minimum of 3-day supply and a recommended 2-week supply. Store water in a cool, dry place to prevent contamination. Identify sources of clean water such as springs, streams, and wells, and develop a plan for accessing them. Consider investing in a water filtration system, water purification tablets, or a portable water purification device. Avoid sources of water that may be contaminated with radiation. Also regarding food, learn about edible plants and animals in the local area and how to safely forage for food. Invest in a field guide to help identify edible plants and berries. Avoid foraging in areas that may be contaminated with radiation. It is important to regularly check and rotate the stored food and water supplies to ensure that they are still safe to consume. Individuals should also have backup options, such as water purification tablets or a water filtration system, in case their primary water sources become contaminated. In summary, having a reliable supply of food and water is essential for survival during a nuclear winter, and individuals should plan ahead and stock up on these essentials. With careful planning and preparation, individuals can increase their chances of survival and minimize the impact of a nuclear winter on their communities. Next, protective clothing. Having appropriate clothing and protective gear is critical for survival during a nuclear winter. Here are some recommendations for clothing materials, protective gear, and survival tools. 1. Clothing materials. Wear clothing made of natural fibers such as cotton, wool, or silk, as synthetic materials can increase the risk of skin irritation and are more likely to catch fire. Layer clothing to provide insulation and adjust to varying temperatures. Wear waterproof and windproof outerwear to protect against the elements. Invest in a pair of sturdy, well-insulated boots and gloves. 2. Protective gear. Wear a protective mask or respirator to protect against inhaling radioactive particles or other harmful pollutants in the air. Wear a hat and protective eyewear to protect the head and eyes from exposure to the elements and harmful particles. Invest in a full-body protective suit to provide additional protection against radiation and other hazards. 3. Survival tools. Carry a multi-tool or survival kit with essential items such as a knife, fire starter, first aid kit, and compass. Invest in a portable radio or other means of communication to stay informed about the situation and receive updates. Carry a backup power source such as a solar-powered charger or a hand-crank flashlight to ensure access to light and power. In summary, having appropriate clothing and protective gear, as well as essential survival tools, is crucial for survival during a nuclear winter. Individuals should plan ahead and invest in high-quality, durable items that can provide protection and support in the event of an emergency. Having a supply of medical supplies and knowledge is essential for survival during a nuclear winter. Here are some recommendations for first aid kits, basic medical supplies, and tips for maintaining hygiene. 1. First aid kits. Invest in a comprehensive first aid kit that includes essentials such as adhesive bandages, gauze, antiseptics, pain relievers, and a manual on basic first aid techniques. Consider including additional items such as a CPR mask, a tourniquet, and a snakebite kit, depending on the specific risks in the area. 2. Basic medical supplies. Stock up on prescription medications and other necessary medical supplies and keep them in a secure, accessible location. Consider storing additional items such as eye drops, glasses or contacts, and hearing aids if needed. Keep a copy of medical records and important medical information such as blood type, allergies, and any medical conditions in a secure and easily accessible location. 3. Maintaining hygiene. Establish a clean and sanitary living environment to minimize the risk of illness and disease. Keep clean water and soap on hand, and practice regular hand washing to maintain hygiene. Consider other hygiene practices such as brushing teeth, washing hair, and changing clothing regularly, as these can help to maintain overall health and well-being. In summary, having a supply of medical supplies and knowledge is essential for survival during a nuclear winter. Individuals should plan ahead and stock up on essential items, while also learning basic first aid techniques and hygiene practices to maintain their health and well-being. Finally, communication. Having a means of communication and support is crucial for survival during a nuclear winter. Here are some recommendations for communication devices, building a community of survivors, and forming support networks. 1. Communication devices. Invest in a portable radio or other means of communication to stay informed about the situation and receive updates. Consider alternative methods of communication such as a whistle, flares, or flags to signal for help if necessary. Keep a backup power source such as a solar-powered charger or a hand-crank flashlight to ensure access to communication devices. 2. Building a community of survivors. Seek out other survivors in the area and work together to provide mutual support and assistance. Consider forming a community of survivors with shared resources and skills to increase the chances of survival and well-being. Plan and prepare together, such as by building and fortifying shelters, securing food and water supplies, and establishing a system of communication. 3. Forming support networks. Establish a support network of family, friends, and neighbors to provide emotional support and assistance in times of need. Connect with other communities and organizations to increase the chances of survival and well-being. In summary, having a means of communication and support is critical for survival during a nuclear winter. Individuals should plan ahead and invest in communication devices, work together with others to build a strong community, and form support networks to increase their chances of survival and well-being.
So, Human, did you enjoy that? Or perhaps did you learn anything? If you did, I'm curious to find out in the comment section. And if you haven't done so yet, subscribe and share this video as it can help others just like it helped you. Also, stay tuned for more videos like this. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out.